Good time and peace to you, friends. Today, on the agenda, is a new forecast from the renowned astrologer Svetlana Dragan for the year 2024. Svetlana Dragan pays special attention to this year's spring because events long awaited in Russia are expected to occur, which could pose a significant problem for many countries worldwide. We see how prophecies and predictions voiced 3 to 4 years ago are coming true. She talked a lot about upcoming changes, named specific dates, conducted deep analysis, and compared prophecies from various clairvoyants, prophets, and astrologers. The time described earlier is approaching, and forgotten forecasts that we strive to remind you of are already coming true. Therefore, subscribe to the channel to keep up with new video releases about the future and stay informed about current forecasts. So, at the beginning of the month, Svetlana Dragan analyzed the current situation with global maps and astrological layouts for the near future. The astrologer voiced her astrological forecast and precise dates of future events live on her official website and even on a Russian television studio in the Malahov program. Specifically, let's analyze the spring. So, after the onset of the so-called Chinese New Year, what happened on February 10, 2024? This year officially began its countdown, and the next 12 months will be practically accounted for. From this day on, we can already observe the fulfillment of the current forecast. For example, by the third decade of February, the astrologer predicts a series of restructuring processes, with a particular emphasis on February 19th, marking the countdown to the process of creating and seeking new alliances, which will play an important role at all levels. In the program with Andrei Malahov, February and March of this year will see political environment restructuring not only in Russia but also worldwide. By spring, new alliances will already be organized, countries will attempt reunification and seek a certain point of support. From February, we will see such partnership attempts, as Svetlana wrote in her textual forecast. On February 19th, the situation on a global scale will begin to move towards aligning relations between countries. European countries are more likely to begin approaching those who can provide them with a stronger point of support in the future than they have now. We assume that the rapprochement will begin with Russia because due to the imposed sanctions, the economy of Europe has already suffered significantly, and at the moment, the West cannot, despite all efforts, compensate for the reputational and economic losses, which are literally destroying people's lives in EU countries. Food shortages, farmers, unaffordable electricity bills, and the unavailability of necessary goods are rapidly lowering the standard of living in Europe. But this process can still be stopped. Perhaps Dragan's forecast on countries seeking new alliances will begin to come true. Therefore, Europe will begin attempts to approach Russia, leading to a legislative review. Laws and sanctions will need to be adjusted overall, and the situation may seem not so bad in the lives of ordinary people in Europe. Disorderly and empty Europe, as Vanga saw it, will be postponed until the next outbreak of madness and the incompetent politicians of her leaders. But this is, of course, in the best-case scenario. Dragan's forecasts describe a very eventful February that will accumulate forces for the upcoming grand spring changes. On her official website, Svetlana writes, and I quote, "Tectonic shifts will occur in Russia's power system, and this can be a quite acute moment accompanied by stressful situations. By early March, we can expect the beginning of a grand transformation in Russia." As she stated live in Andrei Malahov's studio, according to her words, a sharp unprecedented leap of Russia in many directions will begin in spring. We and you already know from many predictions that a strong and independent state of Russia awaits an unprecedented flowering in the future. In just a few years, says Dragan, our lives will reflect this in everything. This means that Russian citizens have a very bright future ahead, both spiritually and materially. 5 years ago, the Iranian seer Salman Solhi Gadarzi made a prediction that we voiced on the channel in one of the first videos of the prediction cycle. By 2030, there will be no poor people left in Russia. Many laughed at this prediction then. I expect a breakthrough year, such as the issue of freedom of movement, which will not only develop domestic tourism but also external. This, not to mention the fact that specifically for Russia, March will bring the emergence of new faces, especially in the political arena. This will be a real team pointing the country towards further development under the leadership of one of the world's strongest leaders. His appearance was predicted by dozens of clairvoyants, Even Vanka spoke about the fact that the glory of Vladimir, the glory of Russia, will echo through the centuries, and the history of this country in our time will be studied by the best world leaders of the future, building their management strategies. Following the events of February 22, the astrologer made the following statement: "We are heading for global changes, which will be followed by a completely different story, different relations. Russia is the heart of the earth, it is this pump, and the heart should not ache, otherwise there will be problems for everyone. Therefore, we are forced to seek new ways, and we will see serious changes in society, in understanding processes, in how everything unfolds." 3 waves of change await Russia. The first was in 2023, the second is in 2024, and then the citizens of the country await a real period of transformation. As for Europe and the most worrying issue regarding a nuclear conflict that many fear, the X-hour is almost midnight. After analyzing the astrological indicators, Dragan asserts that there will be no nuclear apocalypse, and there will be no need for it. In an interview with Dmitry Borisov, Dragan stated that all predictions about a nuclear apocalypse are groundless, and will not happen. What is happening in the world is actually disadvantageous to the people of all countries because the most dangerous situation affects not those who make decisions about escalation, but those who suffer on the fronts or fields, and even ordinary citizens who, due to sanctions and worsening economic situations in European countries, cannot afford a normal life. People who are in need of nothing. Europeans and Westerners. Svetlana predicted in 2023 on the Let Them Talk program the following: "Those people who did not understand the true goals of the events that are happening will begin to understand them. Our civilization will change, our economy will change, everything will be changed." As for Ukraine, astrologer Dragan fully agrees with the conclusions of Indian astrologers Abhigya Anandi and Naruta Nova Arch, who stated that in 2024, Ukraine will be completely weakened until the conflict is fully resolved and the situation is accepted there. This will only happen in 2026, while in Russia, much earlier, they will celebrate victory, as the country will appeal to facts rather than interpretations of what is happening, as is customary in the West. Dragan said that spring of 2024 is the actual closure of the Ukraine project in the form in which it existed. This may mean enlightenment in the minds of many Western politicians, an adequate attitude towards the fact that the goals and objectives of the West in this conflict cannot be achieved, and Russia is closing one goal after another, confidently moving towards total victory. Recently, Tucker Carlson conducted an interview with Vladimir Putin, which can be considered the most high-profile interview of global scale to date. It could fundamentally influence the opinions of people living under a kind of veil of lies and propaganda that has been shaping their views for several years, opening their eyes to the current state of affairs and what the future holds. Dragan said that from March to January of the following year, 2025, Ukraine will face a deadlock situation comparable to the demise of an entire state. She expressed her opinion in a few words: "I think," she said, "that Ukraine as it exists now, as a Western project, will not exist anymore, and this looks sad. Probably, such a thing could happen. Even the Ukrainian Malfar unintentionally predicted in the early 2000s that this would happen to his homeland. Part of it would go to Moldova and the Czech Republic, and the central part, according to him, would be taken by Russia." Do you believe in such a forecast? Write in the comments. In the overall forecast for the spring of 2024, Dragan also highlights the date of April 9th. The astrologer mentions certain divine forces that will be involved in the process of creating a special leading union or union of leaders, completely renewing political business structures. Divine power will help point the way to higher justice. But this may not be an easy path, fraught with losses. And what's next? The astrologer writes, extremely important time, starting from April 20th and approximately until April 26th. The time around April 20th to 26th seems to me to be a time of various wonders. Everyone puts their meaning into this term. In a more popular social context, this is a moment of the introduction of new technologies, new economic models, new forms of interaction with nature and agriculture, financial innovations, new experiments in nutrition principles and diets, as well as products. This includes new approaches in cosmetology, aesthetic surgery, and so on. The world will open up new horizons in the process of its global transformation. Many new introductions will provoke doubts, especially regarding medicine. Much will still require testing over time and refinement. In general, it is difficult to combine nature and technology, concludes the astrologer, but apparently such attempts will be made, and new technologies will soon burst into our lives, continuing to radically change it. As for higher energies and the connection with space, it seems that a truly amazing transformation will begin in the spring of 2024. There will be a change in the properties of matter, about which the scientist and biophysicist Valentina Mironova spoke some time ago, giving examples and amazing facts. Look at the video about her predictions in our series, it will be interesting. So, confirming her words, Svetlana Dragan writes that in general, the Earth itself may acquire a somewhat different status, generating new energies on its own. At this time, one can expect how cosmic events will affect the Earth. These could be the falls of small meteorites, strong magnetic storms. The energies of the Earth and space are capable of generating new forms of existence and new life in a form that we do not yet know. But it is not excluded that Svetlana Dragan is also talking about new trends in science, new discoveries that will have to be understood and explained in the future. After May 26, the amazing transformation of the environment will be felt and visible to everyone. Russia will open its doors to receive the needy from all over the world. The attitude towards this country will change dramatically, and its borders will expand. These will only be the first harbingers of the country's global turnaround into a new future that many could not even dream of. Such was the forecast of the astrologer Svetlana Dragan for the spring of 2024. Let's discuss in the comments what you think about what you've heard and whether you believe that the predicted events will come true. If you liked the video, don't hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel to be the first to watch videos about the future. Thank you for watching. Until next time.